Hello, and welcome to Havoc Wargaming, dedicated to bringing you the uncommon. For those of you who haven't met me, my name is Ron, and today we're going to do a review of Sarissa Precision's Gangs of Rome. So let's get started. Subscribers of this page will know that I have recently participated in the Kickstarter for Gangs of Rome 2. And that Kickstarter isn't meant to be delivered until January, but I've started putting together, I never played the first version of the game. So I'm presently putting together a table, and I bought a few extra figures from Wargames Foundry. I'm hoping that when the PDF becomes available that I might be able to start putting some games up to give you an idea what the game is like. We'll see how that goes because I don't know if I'll have mobs or not. One of the first things I've done is I bought a mat from Cigar Box that I'm very pleased with. And I've recently bought a bit of Sarissa Gangs of Rome buildings. I haven't assembled all of these yet, but what I'm going to do is give you a little rundown of what they look like. There's a bundle that comes with two of these upper rank forum corners and a upper rank shop block that connects the two of them into a little U-form. These market stalls, there's 8 of those in there. Their bakery, one of their semi-detached buildings, and a middling sort of group of shops, and their slave pens. So we're going to show you the buildings I put together so far and talk a little bit about them and my initial thoughts regarding the buildings. I'm going to go ahead and mention City here. This is by Dave McCauley. And this is I think it's really intended for children, but it's a book that goes into quite a bit of detail about Roman planning and construction. It's for a different city than Rome based on archaeological work of that site. But it's been very helpful in deciding what buildings to get and how to put them together. I don't mean assemble the kits, but how to put them together to form a believable Roman city. In similar fashion, I've been doing research, watching Gangs of Rome, the old HBO series, which has an absolutely stunning set and beautiful views of a recreated Rome that would be very useful for inspiration for your Gangs of Rome table. A little less obviously, I've been watching a TV show, I think it's it's clearly a British television show, called Plebes, which is a sitcom set in ancient Rome. It's very anachronistic, but I think their set again is pretty good and will give you a lot of ideas and inspiration for putting together a Gangs of Rome table. But enough of that, let's go and take a look at some of these models. All right, what we're going to do right now is cover some of the sets that I've already started construction on. Keep in mind that none of this, of course, is painted. I'll try to give some painted examples of these from other sources that I have in pictures, and we'll talk about what we can about some of these buildings here. This little kit is a slave pen and auction block. It was important, at least in the first edition. There was a game that specifically used this. I don't know whether that'll be true in the upcoming game or not, but I thought it might be a useful thing to have anyway. One of the things I bought was a bundle, which came with there's a couple of buildings that are designed to go together. There's the insulas, and had I done a little more research earlier, I would have bought the insulas, I think, instead of these forums. But I bought the forum bundle. It comes with 2 of these corner buildings. It comes with a different, an upper class set of workshops and another forum building that goes on the end. The forum, of course, it's designed to form a square around a forum area. So I don't have the other 2 buildings built, but let's go ahead and take a look at the corner section. There's a lot of this little inlet work here, and you'll see I haven't punched out all of the excess bits of sprue there, but that's easy enough to do. It's just time consuming. The buildings are made out of MDF with card. They have supposedly removable roofs. My roof seems to have become glued on. I don't know if that's an issue actually, but this roof seems to be glued on. Again, these just punch right out there, so that's not really an issue. I just haven't done it all yet. But I'm probably going to glue the balcony on. I left it on to get access there, but I don't think that's really all that useful, and it's been more of a pain in the butt than anything else. These were a little awkward. In fact, one of them broke. You can see that here. Maybe with some glue we'll fix that. And of course, columns. This isn't the best way to do columns. MDF. But there's all sorts of little detail work. There's some internal walls. Gangs of Rome doesn't really go into the buildings much. I don't, at least not yet. I don't believe it does. There's some inscribing on the walls. I think these are really nice detailed kits, and they paint up really nicely, as you'll see in some of the pictures I'm going to tack on. Most of these pictures I'm tacking on are coming from Facebook. So two of those. Now the other ones, the insulas, is the ones I think I would rather have gone with, are designed to go on the table this way and form little apartment concepts. You know, 4 of those together would have made a little insula with an open courtyard in the middle, and that's very typical on how those apartments work. It might be, of course, the forum, again, I went through and looked at the original scenarios for the first version of the game, and it often had either 2 whole board sides covered with buildings or 1 a whole U or things like that, so I went ahead and bought buildings with an intention. Now this is not the set of workshops that comes with that. This is the middling sort, or the middle class building. Again, you'll see there's some etchings in the wall here. It's again cardstock. It's got doors on the back in the windows. Some etching work here to show what, which will be framing when it's all painted up. Again, roof comes off. There's separate little apartments up there, and then all of this comes off to get down to the shops or tabernas. The only difference really between the different classes is how they finish the balconies off in the front areas. This is the workshops. It is a single-story building. Again, same sort of construction. Again, I still have some of the windows that pop out. A lot of paint lines on the walls, cracks into the walls here. Same cardstock building. This is sort of interesting to me. This door opens to a room that has no front here. Seems architecturally odd, but there's probably would have been a connecting door here. Again, right now, as far as I know, the game doesn't go in buildings. Maybe in the future I'll put an adjoining cardstock door on here to imply that these are the same building or shop. The last one I have to physically show you right now is a detached home. This is like a combined shop or taberna and dwelling. These come with either a flat roof. Most of these I got the peaked roof on, but this one has a flat roof on it. So that's a choice you can make. Of course, the game relies on using the different altitudes and heights, so I thought it'd be nice to mix that up a little bit. Again, the roof comes off, 2 rooms up above. This is the only one that actually has an adjoining door on the main floor. But I think I'm going to buy a bunch more of these. I really like this little structure, and it helps break things up. The last one I have assembled here is, this actually isn't done. This is a project in hand. I'm going to go ahead and show it to you where it stands now, just because this is a beautiful model. It's taking me longer to put together than I thought. So again, it's going to have cardstock framework and details that go over the front and around these windows, probably around the archway here. There's a balcony that goes over the front. But anyway, this is the bakery. It's a large piece. It has a working yard in the back, walled in, and the house and the living quarters up above. It's got a nice amount of detail, though. There's going to be 2 mills that go here. If there's a problem with the model, it's that these mills are going to need some work to make them look good, because they're just discs of MDF attached up on top of each other, and that's not what the real things look like. So they may need some work to make it look better. But I love the fact that it's got the store counter. It's got an oven that adjoins to the oven in the back there in the work area. There's a ladder that goes to the living area up above stairs. This is a really beautiful model. I'll put a completed picture on here as well to show you what it's going to look like when it's done. There's going to be a roof back up in here as well. But this is one of my favorite pieces, and I had to get it. It's going to just really look nice on the table. So those are the buildings as they stand now. Now, I really like these. I have a bit of Sarissa, as followers of this channel will know. But so far, of all the Sarissa projects or things I bought, this is clearly, is without doubt my favorite of their lines. This is really, really nice. A lot of little details, a lot of interesting things. And it's all specific for that Gangs of Rome game. Problems with it, of course, is it is MDF, so it's very three-dimensional. I saw at least one fellow on the Facebook page, Gangs of Rome Facebook page, that replaced these lines here with small bits of wood to give it a more three-dimensional feel around it. You could have also done that with card stock like this card here. You could finish the sides with a textured paint. I don't know if I'm going to do that because of the lines that are in here, and I don't want to lose that. I'm not sure how much of that texture would actually apply from any kind of distance when you were looking anyway. What I do want to do is the next complaint I have is that, of course, card does a very poor job of simulating Roman tile. But that's an easy repair. In fact, it's so easy a repair that even Sarissa has looked at it. My favorite way of doing it is what my friend Colin over at Charlie Foxtrot has done, which he has resin roofs for all of his Panteel buildings. But the next best thing, and that's what I would recommend for these, and they now sell the product I'm about to refer to actually on Sarissa, so they've apparently come to that conclusion as well, is plastic tiling. Some of my other buildings I've used that on in the past, and you can just cut it to shape and put it right over those. It's going to be a little harder on the corner buildings, but still not impossible. It's just a case of matching the angles. And that could be put over all of these roofs here. It could be put on these awnings, and it'll go a long way towards making the building look a little better. I've also seen people put flag work or stone tile work or flagstone onto these bases. I've also seen a mixture of flagstone and dirt and various finishes for the fronts, which look very, very good, and will get away from this completely unetched base look. So those things alone, some nice paint jobs. Keep in mind that we're used to seeing these buildings all white in Hollywood, but history is showing more and more that there's a lot of color in Rome, and that would be something to keep in mind that will help really bring out these buildings to a good degree. So I hope that was somewhat useful. I hope to show these buildings, well, I know I'll show these buildings in the future when at some point when I get Gangs of War games up on the table, so you'll eventually see them painted at least. Now, I talked a little bit about these earlier. These are some of the other models I got. These are market stalls. They look like out-of-scale picnic tables and benches, but these are actually the tables, and these are the roofs for the market stalls, and there's apparently 8 in this little box. That seems unlikely to me. Maybe there's 2 of these panels. Doesn't look like it, though. Said there were 8, but it looks to me like there's 4. No, there's 2 in there. Well, we'll see. But that'll help create a nice market area, which would be an obvious place for the game to be played. That's the same. That's just the upper corner, upper rank forum corner. You saw the built one of those earlier. And then here's the upper rank shop block. So just like the one that's here, I said they were a little bit different in details. About the only difference here is that this one has columns out front instead of the archways that the other one has. So there's also a few different variations of this building at different levels and scales of that building. A lot of construction equipment too, which has become instrumental in the game. So I think these are a really good buy. Of all the Sarissa buildings out there so far, this is my favorite line. I think they've done a lot of really good work on these. I think they're going to look really good with some extra details with paint and with the tiled roofs I mentioned, maybe with some graffiti drawn on them. They'll just really come to life, I think. So I hope you found this useful. If you have, I hope you will hit like. If you have any ideas for further content you'd like to see us produce here on Cry Havoc Wargaming, we look at the comment section for that as well. If you'd like to receive further notifications for videos like this one that may help you determine how to better spend your time or money in your tabletop wargaming hobby, I hope that you'll hit subscribe and ring our notification bell. Till next time, cheers.